I'd like to call to order the Senior Advisory Committee, resident, I should say, July 14th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Ms. Bennett? Mr. Blattle is absent. Ms. Burdo?
Present.
Ms. Jordan?
Present.
Mr. Feeney?
Present.
Ms. Reinsch?
Present.
Ms. Williams?
Present.
Ms. Sisset? Present. Councilmember Boyer?
Present.
Okay. Dave, would you like to stand up and do the pledge for us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, I need an approval for the agenda for this evening. So I need a motion.
I motion to approve.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I need approval of the minutes from the last meeting. So I need an approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Remember, everybody, to press your button when you're speaking. Okay. Citizens' comments. Young lady, would you like to come up and make any kind of comments? We'll let you. You? Well, you have to. Yeah, but it's fine, but you. Okay, well, because you're under citizens' comments right now. Okay, old business. What do we, Dorsey, what do we have? Do we know how much money we took in and all that good stuff on the things back in many months ago?
On the senior fair, I want to say we shared that a little bit ago, but I want to say it was somewhere about $2,500. And then really our only expenses from it was the facility itself for $750, some coffee, and then the entertainment from it as well.
Okay. Anything else from old business? Nope. All right, we're going to move on to new business. We happen to have a state legislator with us tonight. Dave Hinman, would you like to come up and make your presentation, sir? Sure. Just so you all know that Dave and I were on the council together, and we had a lot of fun.
We did have a good time.
Yeah.
We did have a good time. Excuse me, for those of you who haven't met, my name's Dave Hinman, and I have the honor of representing the great city of O'Fallon up in Jefferson City. I have the center part of O'Fallon. If you Highway K, Mexico Road, draw a circle around it. I am one of 7 folks that represent the city of O'Fallon, and I am the only one that has almost all city of O'Fallon in my district. I have 1 subdivision that's in St. Peters, and I have 1 that's in Darden Prairie. Everything else is in the city of O'Fallon. This is my second term up at the Capitol, and I was on 4 different committees up there. I was on the Insurance Committee, Financial Institutions and Banking, a committee called Emerging Issues, which everything that doesn't have a place, that's where it goes, and almost all the controversial issues go to that committee. And then I also chaired the Local Government Committee, which I love doing, and with my experience here in O'Fallon, I was a councilman for 13 years here in the city of O'Fallon, and so that gave me a lot of background to chair this committee. I did carry 9 bills this last year. I was lucky enough and honored to pass 5 of those bills, which was pretty amazing. If you know state government, it usually does not flow that well. I think last year we passed a total of 7 bills, not including the budget bills. So things went very well. The bills that I did pass, one was to help out the firefighters in the city of St. Louis with a pension issue that they had. So I made a correction for that. They've been working on that for 13 years. We were able to get that across the line. Also worked on a project for the Department of Revenue fee offices, which we have a big one here in O'Fallon. They have not had an increase in fees since 1999. The state is the only place that they can get an increase in fees. Obviously, they can't just increase what they've got. So we took an increase of $3. So when you get a driver's license or you renew a title on your vehicle, it's going to be $3 more starting next year. And that was really important to especially the rural areas because they have no way to increase, especially wages for their employees, and have a tough time keeping employees. So this was a really good bill that they really needed. The third bill that I did was it changed and created an offense for burglary in the second degree. And this was for if you go into convenience stores, if somebody jumps a check stand, at a McDonald's, somebody jumps a check stand, or Home Depot or Lowe's, they go into an employee-owned area. That was very difficult to come up with something because the only charge for a second-degree burglary is 7 years in prison. Obviously, if somebody jumps over a check stand in Quick Trip and steals 2 cartons of cigarettes, a prosecuting attorney doesn't want to give them 7 years in prison. So a lot of the times they were just giving them a municipal charge, which was a slap on a wrist and a fine, and it's just gotten out of hand, the amount of times that this happens now in commercial businesses. So we created a new law that it is a Class A misdemeanor, which is up to a year in prison. The fourth one was brought to me from the city of O'Fallon, and this had to do with Judicial Privacy Act. Last year there was a bill that was passed for folks in the Supreme Court and circuit courts that their employees would be protected and their information is protected. It did not include municipalities, so we changed that this year to include municipal courts. They had a problem where if somebody would go to court and have an issue with the prosecuting attorney, people would look it up, they'd go to their house. So we wanted to try to keep as much information private as possible in those ones. And the last one I did, the one I'm most proud of, is the Public Safety Recruitment and Retention Act. And what this does is it allows anyone who is in public safety, police officers, EMTs, firefighters, correction officers, dispatchers, if you have been in your position for 6 years, then you can apply and have your college education, 4-year college education, paid for by the state. The money is appropriated each year by the governor. He's the one who determines how much and if we're going to put funds in there. The other part of that is if you've been in your position for 10 years, your dependents are eligible for the same option. And again, we want people to stay in those positions, and we want to have their children stay in those type of positions. The degree has to be in a law enforcement or a firefighter or some type of public safety degree. They can't just get a degree in whatever they want. We want some family history there and try to keep people in the same field. We signed that bill Friday downtown at the Firefighters Hall down in downtown St. Louis with the governor, and it was an amazing, amazing deal. A couple things I wanted to hit on the budget real quick. We passed a budget for $52.5 billion in the state. That's probably the last year it'll be this big because we are spending down the remainder of federal funds that we had received over the last several years. And those won't be available next year. Part of that, we spent $4 billion on public education. We added in an additional $500 million this year, which was the largest increase that the state has ever made in public education. We fully funded the formula, we fully funded the transportation piece for public schools, and on top of that gave them an additional $500 million. So very supportive of public education. On public safety, we gave a 6.8% increase to our troopers, and we put $4.5 million in public safety and transportation to support the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Kansas City. It is going to be a huge deal for the state of Missouri, a huge economic, billions of dollars will come in from that. So we funded extra money in there for law enforcement and firefighters to help out with that and making sure everything's secure. Transportation, we put $62.7 million in general revenue to fund additional funding for roads and bridges. That does not include what we did last year for the money we appropriated for Highway 70 to make it 3 lanes all the way from Wentzville to Kansas City. So that's already been appropriated. Before I get into questions, I just wanted to go through a few bills that related to seniors and what I thought was important that we got accomplished for seniors. One of the things we did this year is we created a new thing called a trusted contact, and this is for banking. Banks have an issue where mostly elderly folks, if they're getting scammed, will come into a bank and withdraw $1,000 and then $2,000 and $2,000 the next week. And the only thing the bank can do is just say, hey, you know, is this for a reasonable purpose? They can't really contact anyone. So what we've done is we've created this, and it's a voluntary form. It's a trusted contact. So if you open a bank account, the bank will then ask you, would you like somebody as a trusted contact? You may put a son or a daughter on there, so that if this happens at the bank now, by law, can contact that person and say, your mother was in here, your father was in here, they're withdrawing a lot of money, you may want to look into it. So it's just trying to help out with a little bit of that theft kind of stuff. One of the other big things that we did this year is we eliminated the capital gains tax. So starting this year, there will be no more capital gains tax for a resident of Missouri for your Missouri taxes. You still have it on federal taxes, but not Missouri. So if you sell your house, you no longer pay capital gains on that. For elderly folks that are selling a house, moving into some other type of living arrangement, that's always a big deal because someone's going to have to pay the taxes on that capital gains. That has been eliminated. Same thing if you have stocks or stuff that you're trading, that will be no longer have to pay taxes on for the state of Missouri. Big thing, we think, saving money, putting more money in people's pockets. We also changed the senior citizen property tax credit, and this is a little different than the tax freeze that we did. This is a Homestead Act, and it changes the amount of money that is required for you. If you are a senior and live in your house, you have the ability, if you're lower income, to save some money on your taxes. And we adjusted how much you make. We increased how much you're allowed to make before you can get those credits. If you're interested in that, that was House Bill 518, and you can get more specifics on that to find out about that homestead credit that you can get. And the last thing that I just really wanted to reiterate is the senior tax freeze that we did last year. We had a lot of folks in St. Charles County that did that, applied for it, and I will say last year was kind of a practice year. There was no adjustments to taxes last year because they get evaluated every 2 years. So we just wanted to try to get as many people signed up as possible, get them on the books that they signed up. You do have to do that every year. A lot of people don't like that fact, but there's some things, there's a reason why. The reason why is it has to be your primary house. So if you sell your house to someone, then it no longer qualifies, and you have to be 62 or older. In my situation, my wife is a little older than myself. If something were to happen to my wife, I would no longer qualify for it. So each year you have to make sure that you qualify, fill out the application and qualify. But it's very simple now. They've made it simple this year where you just go on, you check your information, you say, yes, it's all true. So it makes it easier, but I think it's going to be one of those programs that will really save folks a good amount of money, especially for the seniors in our community. So that's what I had for you on all the stuff that we did. We did a lot of stuff up in Jefferson City this year. I will be happy to answer any questions that you've got. If I don't have the questions, I'll certainly get those back to the chairman.
Does anybody have a question? Please raise your hand so I know.
You have an email, I'll send you all my questions.
Yeah.
I do. If you go on to the Missouri House of Representatives and you just look me up, it'll click in on it and it automatically sends you to my email. It's dave.hinman@house.mo.gov, but it's easier just to go on Missouri House of Representatives and click on it. And I'll be happy to answer those questions for you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not about seniors, but they just recently are getting rid of the federal Department of Education. Does that mean you guys will be appropriating more money for education?
It will be. We're not sure what all those changes are going to be. I know they made a move today, let them move a little closer to eliminating that as a federal thing. So they would probably send money to the states, more money to the states, and it's basically for the states to set up and determine how you're going to run your education.
Anybody else? Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank you, first of all, for all you're doing. That's a lot of time up there, and nobody wants that job. But
Somebody does. They always run against me.
Yeah,
There's
right.
Somebody who wants it.
but there was an omnibus bill. I don't know if you were familiar where you were with it, but it had a lot in it. There was some reforms to referring agencies and how that works, because seniors get inundated with phone calls and things, and didn't even know that they had touched a website. And in it, there was some other things about medication, and it was a very big bill. And at the end, my understanding is it got held up just because they ran out of time. And I personally will be one of those that's going to be coming to Jeff City to talk to you. But I just hope you will keep an open mind on that, and really, because I think it's going to help seniors a lot, from somebody who's spent his life with seniors. But anyway.
And absolutely, Tim, if you want to email me and give me the bill number that it was this year, I'll be more than happy to take a look at it and see where it was. We have 1,600 bills that came before me, and if it wasn't in one of my committees or it wasn't mine, it's hard to keep track of anything else, but I'll be happy to look it up for you. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just want to say thanks very much for all that you've done. Greatly appreciate it. I will email you my questions outside of this. Thanks.
Thank you. And again, it's my pleasure serving the residents of
Don't
O'Fallon.
leave just yet.
I am.
Stay there for a second.
I had the honor of serving on this committee for 2 years on the Senior Advisory Committee, so very much enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. It's my pleasure serving the residents. Thank you very much, Tim.
Okay, moving right along. Senior resource presentation. Tanya, where are you? Oh, there she is. I didn't see.
Hello.
Go ahead, Tanya, you got it.
Okay. If you could please share my screen. I have a presentation for you. Hopefully that will pop up. But while that's getting started and they're working out all the technical difficulties, I do want to piggyback off of what Tim was talking about in that bill. I actually did write a testimony regarding that bill and how some companies are inappropriately using contact information. So I'll share that information more with you in my presentation. But I do want to let you know that I support that bill, and I think that it'll really help with keeping our seniors safe. So my website's called guideforseniorliving.com. It's an online senior resource guide. It's a nationwide tool that you can use. It's free. You do not have to put your contact information in my website in order to get information. And I understand that sometimes it can be a challenge for you to find information to help your loved one. I came from low-income housing, so I know how big of a challenge that is. You might not know where to start. You don't want to give your information to people because they're getting spammed. You might have family members that have conflicting information and opinions about what care to do. And so you might feel overwhelmed with all the research online. And so I created this tool as a free tool for anyone to use. You can go on and get the contact information without giving your contact information. So you can find senior housing, care, and community connections. It has an easy-to-use search bar. It uses Google Maps and direct calling. And you can create a profile to save your listings if you want to share that with a family member, a friend, or just yourself in the future. So you can find different types of senior housing. So like I said, I came from low-income senior housing. I worked at Grace Gardens down the road, as well as Gentleman Manor many years ago. And so you can find all of the low-income senior housing nationwide. So please use that as a tool when you're helping someone or referring someone to a community that you may not be able to help. You can find HUD housing, which is according to your income. And you can find tax credit housing, which is lower than the average market price. If you're not sure what you need, just put in the search bar low-income housing and both will come up. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail. Assisted living you can find, also skilled nursing. Skilled nursing is also nationwide. Skilled nursing and memory care communities are for short-term stays or long-term stays. Some of the communities have respite care stays, so if you're going on vacation and one of your loved ones has dementia, they can stay at a community for a short term and be safe. You'll just have to ask those communities if they have respite stays. And then I also have senior living advisors on my site. If someone needs one-on-one help trying to find a community, they can reach out to one of those senior living advisors and they can help them go one-on-one, take the tours, fill out paperwork, find those red flags that we may not be aware of. And then we also have senior real estate specialists, estate attorneys, and home buyers that can help sell the home. You can also find care on my website. So there's different types of care, such as home care, private duty, home health care, which would allow for skilled care, transportation, doctors. And you can find products to help you age in place at home, like the fall pendants or devices that can help you with memory care patients. There's also VA locations. So if you're looking to help a veteran and it's hard to navigate some different websites, you can easily find all the VA locations, their medical offices, cemeteries, and benefit offices on my site. So you can easily just look in the search bar, which I'll show you soon. There's also a section called Tools for Caregivers. So there's some memory care devices and different companies that have came up with some visual aids to help seniors. And then there's community connections. So all the senior centers nationwide are on my site. Your senior center here in O'Fallon is on my site. But if a friend moves to a different community, you could easily help them find that senior center in their town. I recently found a senior that moved from Wentzville to St. Peter's, and she was still driving to Wentzville to go to that senior center because that's where her friends were. So I easily shared the link to the St. Peter's Senior Center, which was literally a block down the road from her current place. So sometimes we just need to re-navigate our new communities or our new things that are in our area. You can also find events like senior fairs on my site, festivals, and different educational events for seniors. And all of the providers on our site are vetted. So we use the Better Business Bureau and government agencies to vet the communities and businesses on our site, such as when I was a HUD property manager, I know that no HUD community should ever fail their HUD inspection. That just should never happen. Maybe they may not get 100%. So all of the communities that failed their HUD inspection did not go on my site. And so I vetted those appropriately. My vision is to improve the quality of life in our senior community, enabling seniors to have a more fulfilling life and enjoy retirement. So let's take a look at the website. I created it like a Google search bar, so it's really simple and easy. It actually has a few more layers than a Google search bar to make it a little bit more easier for seniors. So you can search for a place or event, and the next place you can search by category. And so all the different categories are also listed below the search engine bar. So if you don't know where to start, you can kind of navigate through these. So they're broken down into easy categories. And you can also search for events on the site. And if you hover over one of the boxes, then it'll tell you what's in each category. So if you don't know where to start, you can always just kind of play around there. And then in that middle search bar, if you know you're looking for low-income communities, you could put low income in there. If you're looking for something specific in a community, you could put that in the search field. Maybe you want a pool, and that's really super important. You could put that in the search bar. And then it's connected with Google Maps, so it makes it really super easy to navigate it. The different listings pop up with big fonts, and if you just click on the name of the community, that brings you to the listing. If you click on the address, that puts you right into Google Maps, so that makes it really easy to get to that community, as well as the phone number. If you click on the phone number, it's just like Google, it automatically puts that phone number, and then you just press go, and it calls the place. So I'm one of the only directories that you can actually get the real contact information with the real phone number for the community on my site. A lot of other communities use 844 numbers and various different numbers. And some of those communities that are talked about, or some of those directories that are talked about in the bill, actually do require that you put your contact information in to get a phone number, and then they redirect you to a call center where someone gathers even more information and blasts that out to everyone. So all the contact information that I get, I never share that with a third party. And there's different types of places. There's memory care places, there's eye doctors, so you can find a wide range of different services. There's adult day centers on here. So Nicole with Forget Me Not Adult Day Services specializes in helping seniors with dementia and Parkinson's. And you can find all the details about the businesses on the listing as well. You can see the maps easily accessible. And then I have a YouTube channel called The Senior Living Show where you can see different virtual tours and interviews that I do with different communities and different businesses that are on my site. Here's an interview I did with Nicole with Forget Me Not Adult Day Services. And she has a unique thing where she has a resource lounge, and she shares a lot of her information with her families. And so this is just kind of giving you a little sneak peek of her virtual tour of her center, but it's really lovely. And she has different guest people come in, so it can be really fun and active. And so Grant's Farm came this day, and I just love animals, so we had a great time. And so we're the only resource guide that gives you all the information right away with all the direct contact information. And all of our providers go through a validation process so you can trust the information that you find on our site. And we have over 39,000 business listings on our site, which is growing every day. So even if someone's in Texas, you can still help them find what they need. So if your sister from Texas calls and says, oh my goodness, I need something for my brother-in-law, well, you can help her, because if there's not something on my site directly, you can contact the local senior center and they should be able to direct them in a way. So our goal is to help you all find quality providers for housing, care, and community connections for seniors. And please use our guide as a tool. You can just go directly on there, but you can feel free to call me if you have questions or email me if you need help navigating. I do want to share that we're having a senior fair at the Winsville Rec Center at the end of October. So save the date, October 29th, and that'll be on the site as well. So you can find us at guideforseniorliving.com, on our YouTube channel, The Senior Living Show, or on Facebook or LinkedIn. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Press your button.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming. I think this is a great resource for our seniors. But I do have a question about protection for seniors, because I work with elder abuse situations all the time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them don't know their rights when they get into certain situations. Do you have any kind of resources for that?
I would advise them to call an elder law attorney, because each situation's different. I will say that every community does have the residents' rights posted. That's a law, so they could find that in any community that they're in.
That's true, but they don't understand it. And you know what I mean? A lot of them, like you said, have dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. And a lot of the administration don't explain this to these residents, and so they get into a lot of trouble with things.
There is, I don't know if you've heard of Voice, but Voice is a third-party non-for-profit that is a liaison between skilled nursing and residents. They can help be mediators, conflict resolution. They can help even sometimes just brainstorm with the community. So they're really on everyone's side. They're on the resident side, the community side, and they help kind of balance that, sometimes those hard situations. So Voice, in any skilled nursing community, the Voice representatives' information should be posted, so you could find that. I hope that helps. Does that answer your question a little bit better?
Well, I'm familiar with Voice, but I wanted to see if you had anything else to offer, you know, with that. Because a lot of people, they'll look at this and they might need protection from where they're at. You know what I mean? And they won't know what steps to take. So,
Yeah, so I would say if someone's in a community and they feel like they need protection, the first thing to do is to reach out to that voice representative. And then that voice representative is going to then reach out to a state rep or the necessary people at B. There's also called Hope Housing, and they do offer some other resources. But I do not have those resources specifically on my site. I would say on my site, they could reach an elder care attorney to, for any of those difficult situations.
Okay, are you done yet? Okay.
Any other questions?
Yep.
I don't. The only thing I was going to say, it is, it is one of those situations out there where it's a combination of faith community, churches, voice, family services. Well, the ombudsman is through voice now. They're kind of combined, but and then just community advocates out there that are in the healthcare field. It's kind of how we all hold each other up. I don't know of any one resource any more other than that either. So.
Next.
Okay, well, to respond to what you're saying too, there are mandatory reporting things that are going on that if a senior goes somewhere and they are having such a situation and they tell somebody, like at a senior center or something like that, the mandatory reporting goes into effect and they can get them some help or shelter, because we've done that too.
And there is a state number.
Yeah.
There is the state,
There's the state hotline that you can hotline someone. However, there are laws in place that may or may not be able to help the situation. If they're in independent living, that's a totally different situation. But there is an elder abuse hotline number, and that can also get a third party involved to direct with the resources.
What I had intended to say was that I will personally vouch for Tanya. I have known Tanya for many years. As she said, she was the director at Grace Gardens when I lived there. And I know her to be an honest and a very honorable person. I've worked with her on a number of occasions and with her senior living guide too. It's very much like a Google for seniors. So I would encourage you to peruse it yourself so you at least have it in the back of your mind, what you can go to. And I thank you, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Anybody else?
Tony, I just want to say thank you. I know when you first got started years ago, we were in a STEAM group. So you've come a long way. I looked at your site too, and I do refer to it, and I appreciate all that you do. And when you want to talk about who to report to, please, I'll just talk to you after this. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Nope. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Ted, would you like to come up and talk to us about helping older adults? Because I need a lot of help.
What's that? Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you very much. A lot of what we do is parallel to what Tanya is doing as well. But first, I wanted to thank you for the invitation. I wanted to thank you for what you do. I was on an older adult task force for the city of Chesterfield for about 5 or 6 years until it was disbanded. So I appreciate the role that you play and how important it is. And I also wanted to commend the city of O'Fallon for actually having this group together, because I think it's really important. So kudos to all of you. What I wanted to do was introduce you to the Senior Learning Institute, who we are and what we do. I can tell you a little bit about myself as we go through it, but the Senior Learning Institute falls under the umbrella of a 501c3 that I started about a year or so ago called Aging Aware, not to be confused with Aging Ahead. I was on the Aging Ahead Foundation board for 7 or 8 years. I was also on the Voice board as well, so I have a feel for how those organizations work. And I found that what I really wanted to do was have a more hands-on approach to helping older adults. It all started, 15 plus years ago when I met a gentleman at the gym. I've met many important people at the gym. Some of my best friends, my wife, and Al. okay? So it's amazing what happens when you go and work out, right? So this gentleman was a throwback. I describe him as, imagine a person in the 40s and 50s with the fedora and the cashmere jacket, and just a very polished individual. And he stood out like a sore thumb, and he was in my aisle, and I started to have conversations with him. And what I found out very quickly is that he was all alone. He lost a son. He had another son that lived in St. Charles County and grandkids, but they were not very attentive, and he started to need a lot of help. And he was falling victim to some scams, and he was, I hate to say the word abused, but he was neglected. So I started to be there for him, doctor's appointments and taking him to the supermarket and being there for hospital visits and things along those lines. And I got to watch him invest money in things that he shouldn't be investing money in because he thought he was going to win the grand prize. And it just, at a certain point, it really, really hit me that this gentleman, and I'm sure he's not alone, needs some advocacy. At that point, and I was a real estate agent by trade, and I'm still an active real estate agent, and I was looking to reinvent myself because in 2008, the market changed a little bit. Maybe some of you heard that there was an issue in 2008, and I was involved with new construction. And I decided that I was going to go the traditional route into real estate, and I said to myself at a certain point, my friend Al needed help. I'm trying to reinvent myself. What about working with seniors? So I got a designation, okay, and I was a seniors real estate specialist. And I said, okay, I know all about seniors. And I went to Breakthrough Coalition and other meetings, and I said, hey, I'm Ted Gottlieb, I help seniors. And everybody was like, that was the outcome, right? Because people had come and done that before. So I got another designation and another designation, and I became a certified senior advisor, which is a big deal nationally as someone who is background checked every 3 years when we renew our designations, so that we know that other certified senior advisors that we work with in the St. Louis metropolitan area are also credible in regard to what they do. And then as a result of being on the older adult task force in Chesterfield, I went to the Parks and Recs people, and I said, look, we don't have anything in place where we can actually educate older adults. Not salesy, total information, and advocate for our seniors. So the Parks and Recs group decided to take a risk, and they let Ted do seminars. And we put seminars together for Chesterfield. And then we started in Maryland Heights. And then we went to Sunset Hills. And then we went to Brentwood, and then we went to O'Fallon. So we're in 5 different municipalities. And the municipalities are housing our discussions. There are 10 each year, different topics. So we skip January and February because it's cold and most people don't want to come. But every other month in the calendar year, we're doing a talk, and I'm doing 5 talks a month, different talks in 5 different locations in the St. Louis metropolitan area. So for instance, on Friday, we're doing a talk on comfort care, palliative care, almost talking about hospice, but it's not hospice, we're talking palliative care. So I've got somebody who's coming in from, wait a second. It's the Del Mar Gardens group, Pathways Hospice. Okay, so Cheryl Dorr's coming in, and she's talking about palliative care, what it is, how it can help, why we should start palliative care early in the process while we're still getting curative treatment. So we're talking about things, we're educating folks on serious topics and not so serious topics. And as from the handout that I gave you earlier, you can see the topics that we're talking about through all of 2025, and we'll do programming again in 2026. So if in the month of May, we're doing palliative care in one community and we're doing a talk on balance in another, folks can go from location to location if they want to catch one particular seminar or another. We've used to have panel talks where I would moderate, and we would have 4 or 5 people on a panel, and we would talk about whatever the topic was. This year, I've adapted a little bit more, and I'm bringing more professionals in to do one-on-one conversations. So Cheryl's doing palliative care. We've had WashU come in their OT department talking about the aging brain. We've had a physical therapist coming in talking about arthritis. So a variety of different topics. We'll talk about housing, we'll talk about aging in place. And similar to what Tanya had talked about, we have a website. Okay, and the website has all sorts of information on there, and videos and podcasts, and you name it, it's there. But what I have found is that a lot of the older adults that we're working with aren't necessarily web savvy. They want someone to talk with. So what we've done is that we have an evaluation form on all of our seminars, and we ask on the last page of the seminar form, let us know what you think. And also, let's provide some feedback on some things that you want to talk about. And oh, by the way, there's a list of about 15 or 20 things. If you have a need in any particular area, check a box, make sure I have your contact information. I personally will call you, and I will basically vet the situation, sit down and talk with you on the phone, sit down and talk with you in person, no cost, no obligation, find out what your need is, and then have somebody contact you that can help you with that particular need. So we're a little bit more hands-on, and I have found that's gone over really, really well. The folks that are on our website and our educational partners, so we have sponsors of sorts, they are fully vetted as well, people that I've known over the 15 plus years that I've been working in the older adult sphere, and I feel comfortable using them myself, and I also will help project manage things to make things move along. We talked about, and it was hinted about, care management, and care management is something that we haven't really talked about that much here today, but care managers are also a really, really great tool, and some care managers are inexpensive, some are a little bit more expensive, but they help cut through the fat. Part of the nonprofit that I have, and I'm still fundraising for it, is designed to give back to the community, so if someone does need that help, we can help offset the cost. So if I can negotiate the cost of the care manager and I can help offset that cost of what the older adult is having to pay for that service, because that service can range between $90 and $150 an hour. Okay, but that is it's such a shortcut to finding the information that you need and not wandering around trying to figure out what's in your best interest. So we do a lot with care management. We do a lot with elder law attorneys and estate planning attorneys to really help put people in a good position. On the real estate side of things, I found that a lot of people were leaving a lot of money when it came time to sell the home. And that really bothers me, because I feel that money is part of someone's legacy, or they need that money for their care. So the soapbox that I get on is making sure that when the time comes for someone to transition from their home into senior living, or if they passed away, that we make sure that we maximize what we sell that home for, no matter the condition of the home, so that that money can go towards whatever is best intended versus going to an investor. So that's part of my mindset as well. That really covers the nuts and bolts of what we do. I ask for a little bit of help in regard to how we go about getting more people in the room. In the 5 different municipalities that we have, we get turnouts. Pre-COVID, we would get 60 to 90 people in the room. It was wonderful. After COVID, not so much. So depending upon which location we're talking about, we can get between 30 and 40 people in the room. In some communities, we're getting 5 and 10. The way that these are being promoted, which is wonderful, and again, I appreciate what the city is doing, is that we're in the Parks and Recs guide. So every household in the city of O'Fallon is knowing about these programs, and Darcy has done a great job of that, and I thank you very much for doing that. But whatever we can do, OFallonTV has been great. They've been coming in, Kim's been coming in, and she's been recording each of our sessions and putting them on TV. So that's a tremendous value as well. So if people are not coming, for whatever reason, they're not coming to the Renault Center to hear what we're talking about, they can see it elsewhere. And I don't know that any other city in the area is doing what you're doing as it relates to giving folks the access that they need. So again, kudos for that. So, but whatever else that you can do and suggest as to how we can get more people in the room, that would be greatly appreciated. I'd love to hear a little bit of what you might suggest as to how we can do that.
Anybody got questions for the young man?
I think you guys are great companions. You
Press
got
your
it.
button.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not going to record you.
You guys have both companion services, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Yeah, I'm more local centric. I know Tanya's done a great job nationally. What I tend to do is that if someone's making the move, and I've had several clients who have made the move from here to there out of state, I will connect them with a peer that I have through some of the certifications that I've earned to hand them off that way. Okay, so they have somebody who can advocate for them. So that's the approach that we've taken on this end versus a national approach.
Anybody else? Mary?
Ted, I've known you for a long time. St. Charles is all about St. Charles. I just want to say that first. It's hard to get people to come out. It's hard to get seniors who can't drive out of their homes, which is something that we're working on. So it takes time. It all takes time.
Sure.
And that's what this committee is all about. So appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you as well.
Okay, yeah, question, go ahead.
Thank you I think this is great. I think it would be a great resources for our seniors. One suggestion I might have is, do you offer any types of transportations maybe from nursing homes to the city where you're giving these seminars at?
No, it's a good suggestion. I have not. In some other municipalities, some of the independent living communities have spread the word and people have come. So I think an independent living community is probably a really good start. One of the things that we also do is we will take programming into the communities themselves, which I forgot to mention. So we will go into senior living communities and have these talks, especially when it comes to estate planning. So advanced directives and things along those lines. We'll actually bring attorneys in who will do those on site. So we have that. And we also do smaller, what we call coffee talks. Civil groups, church groups, I'll do Sunday after service, I'll sit in front of 15 or 20 people and have a one-on-one conversation with myself and one other person, an expert on a particular topic, meeting with a small church group, doing those things. But no, that's a really great idea, and it's something I can certainly look into. Thank you for that.
Okay, I would like to thank you for coming.
Appreciate
We
it.
appreciate all the information you've given us,
Great.
and we'll go from there.
Great. Thank you for
If
having
we
me.
can get you set up to visit with our seniors over in the senior center.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll talk to him one-on-one.
Okay. No, Dorsey, you're not next.
Okay, I'll wait my turn.
Our councilman is next.
Hey. Hello. We are about to, in August, the 24th or the 21st, we've got a 3-year planning session that we're doing with the city. Between now and the 25th of July, I need to come up with 3 to 5 things that we would like to accomplish in the next 3 years. So I know that the senior center is one of the bigger things, but if there's other ideas that you guys have, if you can funnel them to me in the next week or so, I can make sure that we can get that in. And if I have questions, we can then talk and get through that. But this is the time for us to get something on the plate into the budget for the next 3 years for us to actually accomplish some stuff. So if you've got ideas, as we were campaigning before, there was a lot of security questions that I was receiving, or at least concerns of just safety. So if there's something there, please bring that forward, because that's something I haven't heard of. What do we need? So that's what I'm asking for. Also, we've talked to Aging Ahead. They are open 5 days a week, so that is something that we have confirmed. We've got a little bit of a discrepancy. They say 9 to 2, we say 9 to 3. We're figuring that out. So that's hopefully next month we'll know what that is. But we're making strides. They didn't know that their website was not saying that. So like, oh, no wonder people are calling. So now they know, and hopefully less calls. So ideas for the next 3 years, sometime between now and the 25th of July. We will have our planning in August, and then I can report out what happened. So, any questions?
I have a question. Did they take down that they provide transportation? Because that's on their website too.
Did they what? I'm sorry.
They have that they provide transportation, which they do not provide transportation.
They said, well, talking with the team here, they say they do, but it's very limited. So that's I'll get more clarification around that.
Thank you.
Okay, Darcy, now you're up.
Darcy?
By the way, shortly, she is taking a different job. And we'll all be missing her. And I'm sorry your boss isn't here tonight, because I tell him that can't happen, but that's okay.
Yes.
All right, good luck.
Yes, so a little bit of personal news, but I've accepted the position as the recreation specialist over athletics for the city of O'Fallon. So I'll still be within the department, but no longer overseeing seniors. So very excited for that, to get back into kind of what I studied in college. and start working with the different demographic and the youth, as well as some of the older adults still doing some softball leagues and stuff like that. So exciting, but very sad to leave this committee. I'm super proud of everything we've been able to do together, and we'll miss you all very much. So enough about the sad stuff. Let's get into some good stuff. For the month of June, we had 72 senior and insurance memberships for the month, so increasing slowly. And then to piggyback kind of off of what we all were talking about with the senior center, we had a very preliminary meeting with them to talk about some senior fitness options. I know that was a conversation with BJC when they were here, and just kind of trying to help that along as well. We have another follow-up meeting with our fitness specialist to kind of get that going in the next couple of days. So hopefully have more information about that in August, but definitely working on that, trying to help get some of that programming up and running, especially in the fitness area. I know that's very important, especially with the chair-based classes. So then we just had HFF, which I know I saw Mr. Feeney there, which was a great event as a whole. I got to be there for both days, working and helping in parking. So just want to give a huge shout out to our tourism and festivals department. They do a great job, and it was a great time. So thank you to them. And then additionally, upcoming, we've got some more jam-ins to finish out the summer. So we have Super Jam on July 15th, The Bright Side on July 22nd, Silver Bullet on July 29th, and Trixie Delight on August 5th.
Oh, boy.
And then kind of bringing it back home for us, Dine and Discover, The Curious Savage is going to be going on sale, and that has a theme this time, and that's going to be hairstyles and hats. So we're encouraging all participants to dress to the nines, kind of get into the theme of the play a little bit. So very excited for that. And then Jersey Boys, ticket sales are up to 17 so far. Still have a couple of weeks left for sales on that, but very excited we will be going. I'm a little sad because I don't get to see that show anymore, and Dalton will be going in my place, but very excited for them and happy that that's kind of taking off. And then last, we have our Donuts with Grown-Ups event on September 8th, and that is kind of our little homage to Grandparents' Day. So that'll be at the Renaud Center. You get to spend time with your favorite grown-up, bring your little one, have a donut, and then also you get to make a special keychain that we'll give to you on your way out as a thank you for coming and getting to spend time, so you can hold on to that memory forever. So any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody? No?
We miss you, Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yes?
I will miss you guys. Don't worry. You still have me for a couple months, so you can't get rid of me that quick, but
Hey, that's what you think.
Thanks for all you do, Darcy.
Congratulations.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on, young.
All right. Last time you got me because I didn't have a fun fact for you. So I got 3 things tonight.
Okay,
Okay. First of all, last month,
you got your button pushed?
I thought I did.
Okay.
Hello. Anyway, last month, Mike,
Speak that way.
I can't read them.
Okay.
All right. Last month you mentioned about us being number 29 in the state of Missouri and for the country. They reviewed like 850 cities and came up with 250 of the best. So we are number 29, so that's pretty good. And we're one among the top 3 in Missouri, okay? So going back a little bit, we talked about how the potential is that O'Fallon will be up to 100,000 people in the next couple of years. So going at the same rate, right now we're 11.6% of us are seniors. That's 11,600 people that we can look forward to, and we've got to come up with more ways to advocate for them, to make contact with them and let them know what's available to them. So that was my comment. Anyway, and thirdly, I work for NECAC now, and I wanted to let you guys personally know that if you know of anybody that's having problems paying their utility bills, we have a program, it's called the Summer ESIP, it's part of the Missouri LAHI program, but we can pay up to $300 for a utility bill that's about to be disconnected, that they just have to get a hold of us and give us some information and we can help them out. And just from the number of seniors that come to the window every day, there's a lot of people that need some energy assistance.
Would you like to give us an address and a phone number?
3400 Meadow Point, it's down in Gentleman Manor. 636-272, oh dear. Anyway,
We caught you.
yeah, you did, you caught me. Anyway, it's NECAC, N-E-C-A-C. You can look it up and it'll bring you right to us. But we'd love to help you. I mean, there's people that obviously take advantage of the system, but there's a lot of real need out there. So if you run across some seniors that need some help, I'd like to offer them that service.
We thank you. Anybody else down there? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.
You can